Royce's rant.
Yup, yup, yup. What up, everybody? It's your boy Royce the Voice, Orange Click, Orange Leaders. Shout out to K Team. And this is Royce's Rant. This is part of the off season. Happy New Year to everybody, and shout out to everybody that tuned in last weekend for the subject matter. We had over 800, viewers and listeners all together. So shout out to y'all, you know what I'm saying? And all the callers that call it in too. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all y'all. Shout out to Monica Blake, Sade West, Vince Bailey. And so today, man, as most of y'all probably seen that I've been posting up, we're going to be talking about a very, very touchy subject. Definitely a taboo, and amongst men and women. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little shaken up. So I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about sexual abuse. All right. Some of us have been going through it as adults, and some of us have been going through it since a child, or we've had experiences as a child. And I realized that it's a lot deeper. You know what I'm saying? Than what people see from the surface. And I feel that it really does affect us in the long run. I feel like what we have been through when we were younger affects us now as adults. Sometimes it doesn't really catch up with us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm here to actually, tell you guys my story about my sexual abuse experiences. And this is the first time I've ever done this. There's only a few family members that know, my very, very close ones, and very, very close friends of mine and stuff like that. Just a handful of people that know, you know what I'm saying, what I have been through when I was younger. So, um, without further ado, I'm going to explain this. I'm going to tell you my story, and hopefully, it can encourage some people. You know what I'm saying, to seek help. You feel what I'm saying? And I will be taking calls in after I finish this story. The number is 615-933-6757. And actually, I just got off the phone to a listener. This person that talked to me, they didn't know if they wanted to speak on that subject or not. And, I told this person, I was like, look, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to call in or anything if you don't want to, but I just hope that I can be um, an inspiration, motivation to people to come out with this. You know what I'm saying? I guess they got the whole little Me Too movement thing and all that. I mean, I get it. It's whatever. I'm not trying to look at this as like Me Too. You know what I'm saying? I'm just coming real, and I know I got a lot of close friends and peers and stuff like that that I feel like they need to hear this. You know what I'm saying? And especially amongst men, definitely men. We don't speak on these subjects. So let's get straight to it. All right, we're talking about sexual abuse. It can affect us in so many ways. It can affect us sexually. It can affect us in relationships, um, from work, your daily thoughts, church, anything that you've gone through. You know what I'm saying? It's like a domino effect. And for me, when I've talked about in my recent lives and stuff like that, when I said that I was working on myself, and when I say that I'm working on myself, this is actually one of the major things that, I have been dealing with um, pretty much all my life. So let me start off by telling you guys my story. Um, yes, I have been sexually abused um, as a male. I was sexually abused by the same sex. Um, it started around the age of 7 years old. Um, viewer discretion is advised. I'm not gonna get too wild up in here. You guys can understand what I'm talking about. But it started when I was 7 years old, and Sonic the Hedgehog was kind of popping then. I think something like that. I don't know. I think I was playing Sega Genesis or something. I was about 7, 8 years old. But anyway, um, I remember I was playing uh, Sega Genesis in my parents' room because I didn't have a TV at the time. I had a little black and white TV, but Sega didn't hook up to that. You know what I'm saying? But I was about 7 years old, and there was this guy. He might have been about 13 or 14 years old. He was actually, one of my neighbors when I lived off in the Donaldson area in Nashville. Stewart's Ferry to be exact. And I remember playing a video game, and he usually just comes over all the time, but this particular time, when I was playing, you know, the dude just started putting his hands on my leg, and I'm like, okay, now. Of course, being 7 years old, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I'm still playing video games, and here this young teenager is young teenage male is rubbing on my leg. You know what I'm saying? I think nothing of it. And as I'm playing, I'm realizing, you know what I'm saying? He starts to unzip my pants, and you know what I'm saying? Pulls it out, and the rest is history on that part. He actually performs oral sex. You know what I mean? And I didn't know what to think. I did not know what to think at all. Actually, I continued playing, the game or whatnot, and because at 7 years old, nobody teaches you about sex. Nobody teaches you about what's right and what's wrong, what's the way it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? But that was the first time something like that had ever happened to me, and it actually continued to happen for months and years. Actually, it was between the ages of 7 and 12 years old, and it just wasn't with that young male at the time, because what he had done to me was he had christened me at an age to where I thought sex was just supposed to be with the same sex. You know what I'm saying? I had no idea what gay was, heterosexual was, or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hell, as a matter of fact, to kind of jump stories, when I was getting molested so many times at that point, it became second nature that, hell, for my birthday, this one chick down the road from me, she wanted to, give me a birthday present. And we went to the backyard of my molester's house, and we went to the back of his little barn, and she unzipped her pants and she showed me her vagina. And the first thing I said was, "Where's your shit at?" You know what I'm saying? That's how confused I was, because I did not know nothing about the anatomy except for male. You know what I'm saying? And with that person doing that to me, I began doing that to others. I had other boys my age. I think it might have been one, two, three. Might have been about three. I dealt with three. I'm gonna say two different people. You know what I'm saying? So a total of three, if you want to include my first molester in a sense, and he was really my only molester, because I can't really say that those other kids molested me, because whatever was happening to them, was happening to me. So when we linked up together, we thought it was natural. And I did this for, like I said, 4 or 5 years. And I can't say that I was confused. You know, I can just say it just looked natural. It was natural to me. You know what I'm saying? And it was none of that anal stuff or anything like that. It was pretty much oral sex, and like I said, it was natural. And I remember this was like the final time that I had got involved. I was about 11 years old, like turning 12 maybe. And I was still in Nashville. This is before I moved to Tullahoma to live with my father, to go to West Middle School. And me and this other particular individual, I actually moved to the Nolensville area, the end of Bell Road and stuff like that. And to be honest, like, we were going to go all the way. You know what I'm saying? And something, I don't know what it was, and I want God, somebody put their hand, down. And I remember before we got to do sexual activities, it was like a light popped open in my head. It was like ding, like, yo, this ain't right. Like, this ain't right, or it don't feel right. And it was just like that. Everything changed. You know what I'm saying? I went from, I don't want to say homosexual, because I think in order to call yourself a homosexual, you have to know and be aware and educated of what you're doing, and then actually like it, and then continue to do it. Now, as a kid, I couldn't even say that I liked it. I just thought that was the norm. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to classify homosexual, classified homosexual, I participated in homosexual activity between the ages 7 and 12 years old based off of my molestation. And right at 12 years old, like I said, going back to the story, we kind of looked at each other and we were like, man, no, something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Something's not right. And just like that, it was over. You know what I'm saying? I became a preteen who knew exactly what he wanted. You know what I'm saying? And from then, it's just been women, you know, from that point. Now, I got to be real with y'all. Like, my gaydar senses are still on. You know what I'm saying? I can easily depict if, especially for a male, if somebody has been through that or they are that or they're in the closet or anything like that. That's what keeps that. And I actually like it because it keeps me from not judging anybody because I can't. I used to be homophobic. And if you want to describe homophobic, that's a phobia. You know, that means being afraid of something. You know what I'm saying? Afraid to deal with it. It doesn't mean that you hate gay people. It just means that you don't understand it. You might be scared about it and you rather just detach yourself away from it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Um, so let's just use the word homophobia because people tie it to other things. I was very homophobic as I got older, and when I got into college, I got into theater and stuff. And there was a play called American Taboo, which I was one of the lead people in there, where I had to play a homosexual along with another homosexual. You know what I'm saying? But not the film type, you know, where you're switching your hips and stuff like that. I was me as I was, but I was homosexual in the play. And I remember with my director at the time, um, Steve Brodnick, I know we all had like this session before we started the play, and we just started learning about homosexuals and like what they were thinking and all that stuff like that. Even at that time, I didn't even explain what I was going through. You know what I'm saying? I just tried to have an understanding. And to anybody that is homosexual, rather male or female, anything like that, and when people argue with the fact of saying, "Oh, they were born like that," da 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 da, and even Dr. Umar Johnson says that 95% of the cases that he goes through with kids with homosexuality have been molested. Um, the same thing with women, gay women. He says that 80 to 90% of them, the reason why they are the way they are is maybe because an absent father. So they grew closer to their mother and grew closer to other women, got love from other women, and probably had their first experience with a woman, rather it was molested. They probably had their first experience with a male and they weren't ready for that, and therefore they have a hate for a male. For me, it was like when it happened to me, I didn't have any hate, but I did lean towards more women because, you know, even though my mom got remarried and everything, I was still just leaning towards my mom and my sister and stuff like that. So um, I carried those particular feminine traits in a sense. And, shout out to my stepfather when he came into my life, and, and shout out to my dad, you know what I'm saying? They were positive influences in my life, but they didn't know what was going on, at the time. But once I did get in college, you know what I'm saying? Uh, yeah, I was really for sure. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's on here listening right now. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about sexual abuse. Um, when I got in college and got into the theater, I went to a black school. Shout out to Arkansas Pine Bluff, HBCU Golden Lions, class of 2007. I There were a lot of homosexuals, lesbians and all that stuff in the theater, and a lot of people were very, a lot of the girls are kind of wondering, like, yeah, what's up with Royce? You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, half of those people in the theater, you know what I'm saying? They were gay, lesbians, and stuff like that. But I was already secure with who I was. So when I did hang around them, I could understand how people, probably thought, oh, this nigga gay, you know what I'm saying? But what they didn't know is that I had already been through that particular lifestyle, maybe not as an adult where I could understand it, but I did not judge because I always wondered if those guys or those girls had the same story that I had. You feel what I'm saying? And they respected me and I respected them. And even to this day, you know what I'm saying? We're all still cool. I don't judge anybody and what they've been through. You know what I'm saying? I don't judge anybody that's gay or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because that's a very touchy subject. And some people can cover it up and say they was born that way. But who knows? Because when you're young, there's a lot of things that you're not conscious of. And I remember I bumped myself on the head right here. I was in 5th grade, and I think it knocked out a lot of my memory because I don't remember anything past, or I don't remember anything before 7 years old. I can't remember any type of stories. You know what I'm saying? And I bumped my head when I was like 10 on this little tetherball pole. You know what I mean? So there's just certain things that I can remember, but those were the memories that I had, something that I never forgot. And yeah, it still sticks with me because I noticed that as I got older, my sex drive was out the motherfucking roof. Like my libido was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I was, you know, I'm single now, but during my heyday, man, I was going from woman to woman because I could never be satisfied. You know what I'm saying? It was just certain things that I was looking for. You know what I mean, in a female, and especially like when it came to sex and stuff like that, I was thinking, man, nobody's going to be, as have a sexual desire like me. You know, so I used to really fuss about it, like, man, like, dang, you know what I'm saying, like, where can I find somebody that has a sexual desire like me? You know, who wants it like I want it? And then I asked myself, like, why do I want it like I want it? And I began to think. I said, it has to be from my past because my first experience was with a male at 7 years old, and therefore not having that natural interaction, I'm going from woman to woman trying to find that same feeling that I had when I was between the ages of 7 and 12. Now, that don't mean I was going out looking for men because like I said before, like I had made up my mind, you know what I'm saying, or found myself in exactly what I wanted, you know what I'm saying, and who I wanted it. But it had always been a problem with me. Like, my sex life was frustrating in a sense because I remember some females were like, dang, you talk about sex too much. Da, 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 da. You know, so I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know. But out of research, people that have been sexually abused have a high libido. They've been molested or raped, have this high libido. They have a different sex style. You know what I'm saying? Thoughts come in their mind and stuff like that. It's hard for them to stay in relationships. You know what I mean? And it's not because you're probably thinking about it. It's like a subconscious thing that sticks in your head because it's something that's still missing. You know what I mean? And like I said, I've only shared this with a few people. I actually told my mom this when I was 27 years old. You know what I'm saying? I built up the nerve to tell my mama one time. And I remember she looked at me and she said, boy, she said, why didn't you tell me, you know what I'm saying, sooner? I would have killed that boy. And I was like, mama, I was 7 years old. Like, how was I supposed to know? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it went on for 5 years and nobody taught me nothing about sex. And I just keep it real. I love my mom, I love my dad, but they didn't really talk to me about no sex, even as an adolescent, even as a teenager. School didn't really talk about sex like that either, which I think they need to, you know what I mean? But there I was, you know what I'm saying, with that desire in my head and with that promiscuous, with my promiscuous ways, you know what I'm saying, that was going on then. That's where it was coming from. It was coming from my sexual abuse, you know what I mean? And I have to say that, after getting off the phone with one of our listeners, um, I have to say this. Even with the person I was talking to, that's older now, it still affects that person. Still, you know what I'm saying? So this is like a major situation amongst, and I'm not trying to single or leave out anybody in a sense, but this is a big deal in the Black community, you know, in all of the community. But this is something that Black men are afraid to talk about or don't want to talk about. And I'm not trying to call out anybody, anything like that, but I know I'm not the only one. I know that. And that's just not from anybody telling me. I just know that I'm not the only one. I know that there are Black men out there in the world, in America, and, on Facebook or whatever, that has been sexually abused by another man or another woman. And you're probably figuring out, why in the fuck do I want to fuck all the time? Why do I have these weird little thoughts in my head and stuff like that, And I really feel like that's where it's coming from. And I just want to tell, anybody, you know what I'm saying? If you have gone through that, it's okay. And I'm letting you know that, you're not the only one. You know what I'm saying? You got somebody right here exposing themselves to all my listeners, all my Facebook friends and families and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Let y'all know I've been sexually molested too by the same sex. And I am not ashamed to talk about it, because I really feel like that this is a vent for me. You know what I mean? I really feel like, shout out to Tatum Taylor out there. I really feel like this is a therapy for me in a sense, because I want to bring ease to my people, to humanity. But just speaking specifically about our black community, this is something that we don't talk about. We shove it right down off in there, and we keep it a secret. And there we go through these psychological things throughout our life, and we don't try to fix it, work it out. I advise people to talk to somebody, talk to a psychiatrist, talk to somebody. You know what I'm saying? I haven't talked to a psychiatrist, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I really just been talking to myself, or just my close friends and stuff like that know. And all in all, talking to my mother, I remember telling my father that. You know what I mean? And even just to hear that, even people in my family that have been through that too, kind of brings a lot of things to ease. But it also lets me know that it's a long time secret in the black community, and I'm pretty sure this goes all the way back to slavery. With the history of that, of keeping it hush hush. When master used to molest you, or molest your wife, or even molest the kings, you know what I'm saying? And not to talk about it, So we got all this shit bottled inside, and I've been, I've learned to accept, you know what I'm saying, what I've been through. I'm comfortable with my sexuality. I am a full bred heterosexual. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the heterosexuals out there, and shout out to all the homosexuals out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not judging y'all one bit, but what I will ask y'all to do, to be real, is find out why. Find out why you feel this way. Be truthful with yourself on what happened in your life. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to tell nobody right now. You know what I'm saying? But ask yourself, or go back to that time that you were molested. Go back to that time that you can kind of remember what happened. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be the person to say that where people were born this way. You know what I mean? Because we all got different religious views. You know what I'm saying? You say, God loves and stuff like that. God loves everybody. You know what I mean? It's cool. But I know, just to be real, 90% of the people that are homosexual or lesbian have been through some type of sexual abuse. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a tough thing to handle. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody wants to talk about this, you know what I'm saying, you can be anonymous. You know what I'm saying? Like, the line is open. That's 615 9, what is it? 615 933 615 933 6757. I want y'all to call in. You can be anonymous. It don't matter. Rather male or female. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to, oh man. Shout out to Tatum Taylor. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for your honesty. That's up. Shout out to Amber Parker. That's my homie, my colleague. You know what I'm saying? She said earlier you spoke about, you're the homie for me. What did it take to come to terms with that as a black man? Okay, so Amber said earlier you spoke about my homophobia. What did it take to come to terms with that as a black man? Okay. This is what, shout out to Cynthia Sampson, you know what I'm saying? But this is what it took. Honestly, just being real. Like, I'm gonna keep it real with you, Amber. You know what I'm saying? Because we talk all the time. I looked at myself in the mirror, real talk. I was a grown ass man, you know what I'm saying? 29 years old. And I cried, and I cried, and I cried. And I literally verbally talked to myself, and I said, yo, you got to get this out. You know what I'm saying? You got to get this out. You got to be real with yourself. And what helped me with the phobia that I had is to realize that I've had friends that were or are, you know what I'm saying, homosexual, lesbian, and that's what kind of allowed me to accept, you know what I'm saying, what happened, and also listening to some of their stories to be like, damn, what is there to be afraid of? You know what I'm saying? What is there to be afraid of? Um, just because somebody's gay. Shout out to Michael Parker. I'm gonna read what you just said just in a minute. Um, it was just I realized that everybody was human. We're all the same, and I also realized that some people are afraid to talk about these things. You know what I mean? And just to know that we're all human, don't get it twisted because I heard jokes all the time about gay men and stuff like that. A gay man will whoop your motherfucking ass. Don't get it twisted. They still a man. You know what I'm saying? So I usually think sometimes that dudes that have homophobia talk about, man, I'm gonna punch a nigga in the face if he says that. Why? He didn't do nothing to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you're fighting your insecurities about what maybe you want or who you are. You know what I'm saying? And I had to realize that people are people, you know what I'm saying? And I couldn't judge. And when I started hearing their stories, I was like, man, what am I afraid of? They're not coming after me. And let's just be real. There are some guys that maybe like girls that they don't know that they're gay. But then once they find out they're gay, you know what I'm saying? They respect that. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like with me that in college when a lot of the homosexuals they would come on to me, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to one of my roommates, I'm not gonna call her name out, but it's one of my homies right there. And girls used to wonder, you know what I mean? And then the guys would come up and try to holler at me and text me, and I'd be like, look, bro, hey, I'm good, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm me. I respect what you do. Just respect what I do, and we can be cool. You know what I'm saying? So I guess how I got over that homophobia is that honestly, I just been blessed with friends who are homosexual that came to me with respect. You know what I'm saying? Because I know there's some hoes out there. There's heterosexual hoes and homosexual hoes. You know what I'm saying? And if there was a homosexual hoe that tried to come up and talk that shit like, woo, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm going to show him what a real alpha male is about as far as using my mind and using my words to explain to this individual that, yo, I'm not like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? I respect you. Just respect me and do your thing. Michael, shout out to Nino Black, man. You know what I'm saying? I call him the key to the city, man. He introduced us to Nashville, man. Michael Parker says, bro, this is Mike. Off the record. What's up, OTR? Just wanted to tell you, bro, that you are a beast. You are amazing in what you do. You're doing this will help so many people. Appreciate your honesty and willing to share this with people. Salute, King. Man, salute to you, King. Shout out to OTR, man. Off the record podcast, man. Y'all make sure y'all check them out. You know what I'm saying? IG, Twitter, Facebook. You know what I'm saying? We connected about a month or so ago, man. And we've been supporting each other ever since. Shout out to Nino Black. You know what I'm saying, man? Real talk, real talk. Shout out to all my listeners, man. So, just going back to what I was saying. I just had to learn to respect everybody. You know what I mean? And be secure with myself because let's be hypothetical. Nigga, if I was gay, so the fuck what? It means I accepted who I am. I'm not bothering anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm only dealing with people who are like me. And I think that's what, and to the disrespectful gay people, gay men and lesbians, I think that y'all should respect people that are heterosexual and have made that decision. I don't really agree with trying to turn a motherfucker out because to me that's sexual abuse in a way. You know what I'm saying? Because you are redirecting them to something that listen, we don't know, you may like it or anything like that. No, they might have been good at where they're at. You know what I'm saying? Because we can be influenced by a lot of things. It just works out better. And I think homophobia can disappear when everybody respects everybody. You know what I'm saying? Gay men quit trying to turn straight men out. Gay women quit trying to turn straight women out. Respect everybody's sexual preference. And I think that homophobia will go away. Actually, I think people will be more happier because man, what does it look like in you're homosexual and you are just wasting your time trying to turn out this heterosexual male or heterosexual female, wasting your energy just to do that? That's when it becomes devious. You know what I'm saying? That's when it becomes devious. I want you to respect your own and be with your own when it comes to your sexual preference. And we can all kick it. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? What we got here? Shout out to Dimple Sweet. What up, Miss Green? It's deep and but so much strength in it. Yes. Nino Black said it took me until I was 32 to get over homosexuality. I got you, man. I feel you on that, man. And it takes time because when you are at a certain age, at a younger age, man, we're not comprehending anything. We're thinking everything is, hey, this is the way it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Or it could be the opposite. You may feel a certain way because it's like, man, man, fuck that gay ass nigga, fuck that gay ass bitch and all that shit like that. Like, no, like, why? Why are we judging people based off their sexual experience? You know what I'm saying? And why are you not respecting people? Like I've been only disrespected one time. You know what I'm saying? This is when I was in college, and like I said, being in theater, I hung out with a lot of thespians, homosexuals, lesbians, stuff like that, straight people. And one dude that tried me. Shout out to Monica Blake. You know what I'm saying? Can't wait to get you on the show on the 17th because we got a great story for her. Shout out to Monica Blake. And also, for anybody that's going through, let me go and call that out. For anybody that's going through any of these type of things with sexual abuse, there's a hotline number. It's 1-800-656-4673. That's 1-800-656-4673. And there was one person that tried me. You know what I'm saying? And I remember. Let me just play it out real quick. I was walking outside of the apartment. You know what I'm saying, with my I hate to say these words, but just one of my homeboy, you know what I'm saying, and the nigga cut hair, you know what I'm saying, get them free haircut. And so I walked out the apartment, and I hear out the background like, "Hey Royce," I'm like, I turn around, I'm like, I already know what that means and all that stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, and I turn around and I said, "What's up, man?" He said nothing. I said, "Okay, stop." I did like a Kevin Hart, stop. All right, let's keep it real, bro. I know what's up. I know what it is. I know what you see. I'm hanging out with one of your homeboys who's gay, who happens to be one of my thespian partners and stuff like that. And I know what you might assume. You know what I mean? But I had to let him know up front, like, bro, I'm not like that. I respect who you are. I just want you to respect who I am. You know what I'm saying? And let's see, Monica says, just early today, I had a conversation with a truly misinformed male, and I realized this needs to be said in reference to sexual assault, sexual abuse. Rape is not about access to sex. It's about power and overcoming the victim. Most people can find somebody to have sex with them. So access isn't the issue. It's about power. Yes, because you said that the other day. You know what I'm saying? It's about power. And now that I come think about it, it made me think about something. With my molester, I really believe it was about power. And then a lot of stuff is, when you look at it, this dude didn't have his father in his life. And I'm not trying to say that that's a result, but that adds to it. He didn't have a male figure. So therefore, as a 13-year-old boy, well, let me mess with this little 7-year-old boy and see what's up. He ain't gonna do nothing. He's a 7-year-old little kid. You know what I'm saying? That was his power. And I let him have that power because the nigga was big. You know what I'm saying? That was a big dude. At 13, to me, he was about 6'2". He looked like a little football player with little foggy glasses and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So part of me was scared because I was like, man, I don't want to say nothing. I don't do nothing, but I guess this is what it is. But then it became a part of my lifestyle, like I said, for 5 years. And it definitely is about power. Rape, assault, and stuff is about power because, just like Monica said, anybody can get some ass. Anybody, you can go buy it right now. It's online right now. But people who are insecure and have a lack of self-love or a lack of power or a control of things, they prey on the weak. They prey on the weak. Rapists prey on the weak. You know what I'm saying? Sexual assaulters prey and abusers prey on the weak. You know what I mean? And I'm saying to people that have been preyed upon at a younger age or even now, you know what I'm saying? Not to say that you did not know yourself or anything like that, but I encourage you guys to be true to yourself and what you will and won't accept. You feel what I'm saying? Because I feel as human beings, we have just as much as power as the person that's trying to put that on us. You know what I mean? And you have to be truly comfortable about who you are, truly comfortable about what you like, and not afraid of any judgment. You know what I'm saying? Real serious, real serious. I advise y'all to read the 48 Laws of Power. And we don't talk about sex and stuff like that, but it all revolves around having control of your situation. And then there's sometimes, man, you may not have control of your situation. You can just get hopped up on and just raped. And now it just turns into survival mode. Okay. So just to let y'all know, if anybody's been raped, sexual assaulted, or abused or molested, it's not your fault. It's not your fault at all. The person with the real motherfucking problem is the person that did it. And he just put that energy upon you. Now he or she is making you feel insecure about who you are. Losing faith in yourself, losing your identity, not knowing who you are, insecure, self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? I had crazy low self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? I mean, my partners can vouch for that. There was a time a couple of years ago, bro. Like I just wanted to quit everything. I was so depressed, and part of what I'm talking about was part of the problem with that. Bills, money, financial situations, being in relationships I knew I wasn't supposed to be in because I wasn't fixing myself. There's a lot of things that I had to put together, but this right here was one of the main things. Like I said, being sexually abused doesn't just affect you sexually. You know, it affects you mentally. It can affect you at your job. Hell, I did semen retention in no nut November. You know what I'm saying? And I man, so much stuff revealed to me. You know what I'm saying? Of just being like, dang, you know what I'm saying? I am in control. You know, I can stop touching myself. I can stop masturbating. You know what I'm saying? I can abstain from sex. You know what I'm saying? From a whole month because I realized I had a fucking problem. I wanted it all the time. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with sex. You know what I'm saying? Be safe with it. You know what I mean? It's cool. But like from a person like me that had his priorities fucked up and that was putting vagina before victory, before success, you know what I'm saying? That No Nut November was good for me. And it gave me a clear mind about what direction I'm trying to be in, what priorities I'm going to put in place. You know what I'm saying? And harnessed that sexual energy to somebody that is worth it more and that is important. You know what I'm saying? It's going to do you good, that brings value into your life in a sense. You know what I mean? And for all the promiscuous motherfuckers out there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not judging you either because I was a promiscuous dude. You know what I'm saying? But I've had to do some soul searching. You know what I'm saying? I had to do some soul searching on the lines. But yeah, also people, don't be scared. Don't be afraid. If you want to call, call. I'm here. It's 615-933-6757. And then if you don't call, why you can call me after the show. It doesn't matter because this is not really about trying to talk to y'all right now because I understand that this is a touchy subject. You know what I'm saying? Like, my line is open anytime to even speak on something like this. And trust me, it'll be very confidential, and know that I understand everything that you're going through. And, you know, we have some resources that could possibly help you. You know what I mean? So I'm saying today, as a black man, as a human being altogether, man, yes, I was sexually abused, molested by the same sex. Um, and it has affected me all the way up to this point where I'm at right now. Like, when I say that you guys are watching Royce's Rant grow, you're watching me grow as an individual. You know what I'm saying? I'm leaving myself open because I'm just tired of seeing everybody that I know or don't know. I keep it real, posting all this shit. Y'all going through all this shit. Da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can do nothing for you. They can't do anything for you. You have to do that for yourself. You have to soul search yourself at the end of the day. And what I'm doing right now is soul searching for myself in hopes that I can encourage any of you guys that have been raped, sexually molested, anybody by the same or the opposite sex. Because it's just the same, even with the opposite sex, being molested by the opposite sex, that has a psychological effect on you. And if you don't get that shit together or get help from that, it's going to be very difficult for you. It's going to be difficult for you in life. It's going to be difficult for you in relationships. Because I think that's what my sexual abuse did. My sexual abuse only kept me in relationships an average of 6 to 10 months. The longest relationship I really been in was about 4 years. And then from there, it just declined. Declined. Before that 4 years, it was declined. You know what I'm saying? But it can really affect. It can really affect. Keep an eye on your children. Watch who your children who are around. I know it's hard because when you're with family, you trust everybody. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying go inspect the gadget on your uncles and aunties and brothers and sisters and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, keep a close eye on your children and educate your children on if somebody does this, or somebody does that. You tell mommy or you tell daddy. You know what I'm saying? You tell any authority figure. You train them to let them know what isn't right at all. So when they get older, they can really have a clear decision on what they really want. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the worst thing you can do is tell a child, you wrong for that. You know what the fuck you were doing that for? What the child did not know. He or she, that child did not know. And when they don't know, how they gonna talk about it? You be afraid to talk about it. I was afraid as fuck to talk about it. And then honestly, I don't even think I was afraid. It was just the fact that it was the norm. It was the norm to me. It was the norm to me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm standing today here, letting you know, yeah, been through it and I'm getting through it. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm not perfect. You feel me? And it's like I said, I'm just taking my time. I'm being honest with myself. And I'm using this platform today. You know what I'm saying? Just to let y'all know that, hey, man, it's okay. It's okay. You ain't got to hide from that shit no more. You ain't got to call me and talk about it. Talk to your mama about it. Talk to your father about it. Confront your fears. Talk to a psychiatrist about it. Talk to a close friend that you really trust about it. You know what I'm saying? And really get through that. You'll be surprised how it works out. You know what I'm saying? Because when I did it, like I said, my boys can vouch for me. I'm a motherfucking open book. I'm a cut up. I get crazy. You know what I'm saying? My alias name is Tay for all the people that knew me back in the entertainment days and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they call me Nas Tay, but that's just, you know what I'm saying, my crazy side, just being open with who I am as a heterosexual male, my thoughts and feelings about things. I'm not afraid to talk about anything, and I'm definitely not afraid to talk about this anymore. So I thank you guys for listening. Real talk. We're going to get off of here. Like I said, still feel free to call, even the ones that got my number, even the ones that's in my inbox. You want to talk about it, it's all good because I understand how crazy this is. And I just want to be at the forefront of this. Nah, I ain't going to say that. That's too cocky. I just want to be a soldier on the battlefield when it comes to sexual abuse, sexual molestation, rape, assault, all of that. I wish you all the best. God bless you guys. You know what I'm saying? I'll be praying for you. And I hope you guys tune in next time. This is Royce's Rant. Orange Click, Orange Leader. Shout out to K-Team. This is Royce Massengill. And I'm out. Love y'all.
Royce's Rant.